Hey everybody, G-Force 41 here. This is another edition of Quick Tips. We are now up to Quick Tips 21. I told you in Quick Tips 20, I'd be back with more soon. So this is PGA Tour 2K25 Quick Tips. This is course design tips. I do a newer designer's course, and I do maybe 6 to 9 holes and give them some advice, give them my thoughts on their course and where it stands. This is a work in progress. This is L'Anse Aux Loup, and I'll spell that right now with a graphic because I'm not going to try to do it here verbatim. This is from Oneputtguru. He's a YouTube viewer. Thank you so much for your comment and your request. If you want to get your course on Quick Tips, just drop me a line in the comments. This is his WIP 4. He in the comments in the last YouTube video, he said he was on WIP 1, but when I went to look for it, heck, he's on WIP 4 now. So I'm going to do maybe the front 9 for him. Let's see how it goes. And the whole point of Quick Tips is to do it quick, maybe 6 holes, 20 minutes, things like that. We'll see how it goes, right? All right, so neutral lighting. So if you're new to design, there's all sorts of options with the lighting. This is what we call neutral lighting. When you have neutral lighting, you want to make sure, see the clouds, you got a cloud cover, okay? And what you want to do is make sure that sun is fairly high in the sky, use a higher angle, higher sun angle, and make it closer to noontime, around 11 to 1 or something like that. You don't want to use that low sun angle and do like late in the afternoon, 3 or 4, because it'll be too dark. So this is actually pretty good. So I like that, a little fog or whatever. Let's actually hit a few, see what's going on. So I think this is based on a real location, which is in Newfoundland. And I looked it up real quick. I don't know much about it at all, but it is a real place. And I'm assuming it's Newfoundland, which is a cool spot in the world, which is why you kind of got this maybe, kind of darker look to it. But I like the lighting. I like courses like this. I don't want to do all of them like this, but it depends on your location. So that's good lighting strategy. I use it on my Scotland-based courses. I use some fog and some more neutral lighting. Grashmore is an example. So we open with the par 5. Quick thoughts. It's okay. The strategy so far, it's very flat. Everything's flat. I got the wind blowing east. There's only one set of tees so far. If you want a 3-shot hole like this, you want a little bit of strategy, as they say, strategy on the second shot on the approach. Now the wind is in your face, so this is probably reachable for longer hitters with the wind, which is fine. I like when you do that with the par 5. Probably need some better sculpting on the bunkers. Green looks rational to me. Just a little bit of a tear going on, which is fine. I'm just saying. And it looks like it's going okay. All right, so no big issues so far. I would say just it's a little bit of a bland hole. Nothing wrong. Again, paint a nice picture off that first tee. That is your first impression. First impressions go a long way in anything. In life and business. Lately, I've been studying, get in there, studying that in business, how important a first impression is when you're giving a talk, a presentation, a sales presentation, a TED Talk. Not that I do TED Talks, but I do a podcast. I'm a podcast host, so I do audio and video. And, and I do guests on some podcasts, so it is very important. More on that later. So we go to a par 3 on the second hole. I don't know what people love par 3s in the second hole. And I kid around, I swear, like, did Ben do a video and say, like, put a par 3 on the second hole? Show off your work. That was the lesson of the last video. Okay, this is fine. It's, again, pretty flat. It's 13 feet up. That's fine. Just not a whole lot of kind of contours going on to this hole. What is that? Tee box on the next hole? Okay, so you got the next hole over there. But I like that. You got a little hill here. And again, so the water, I didn't actually check the general slope. So the general slope of the course, we talk about this early and often on this show. My first video is still my most popular, or one of my first videos. Make your greens look natural. Think about drainage and natural flow and slope of the land. That is the way the land is going to go. That's usually the way the green's going to slope, right? So obviously we're going down to the water here. The general slope, as far as the holes are concerned, everything's, this hole's a little higher than the other fairway, which goes down to the water, what does this green do? It's going the opposite way. So make your greens look natural is all about that kind of thought process when you're making greens. This, to me, should be sloping the other way. Now, I know you're up on a hill here, and it's kind of in a nook and a cranny. Is that possible? Sure. But is that most likely what's going to happen? No. Again, I'm just talking about being intentional with your designs. If that's what you intended, all right. I mean, that's not too severe. But again, to me, this would slope. The natural slope of the land is going that way. I'm pointing and you can't see it, of course, but that's what my graphics are for that I pay for. So I think I'm going to use them and put one in there. That's all. So this could have a little, it's a shorter hole. It could have a little bit more slope on it. So I like that your greens aren't crazy here, but the green's kind of blah. It's not super interesting. It's not bad. Big stripe going up in the middle. I like the stripe. It's a little thick. I'd work on that. Utilize the tools in the game. Surface weathering, maybe. Just to cut a path. But, you can cut the fairway stripe, like a nice cut of grass. Just to make sure it looks real good. The trees look like a bit of a fall theme. I haven't really looked at the planting too much. So I don't know what theme the course is. I'm not a fan of the grid lines. Especially in a course like this. The grid lines on a finely manicured, like, super country club. Think like Riviera, right? Or something like that. And it's very kind of 2000s, early 2000s to me. This is a very rustic, organic kind of course, it looks to me. I would not, especially in this location, not a fan of the grid. That's way too fast, by the way. The camera. You gotta be careful of those. All right. So yeah, I like the stripe going up the middle. So I like those. And it's a tad thick for me, but that's just being picky. I like the planting a little. So you lose, the beautiful glow of the low lighting is what you lose in the neutral lighting, but you don't have that kind of good light, bad light, the up light and the down light. So it's kind of dark and fuzzy, and so it's okay. I mean, the planting's okay on the side. Spectacular? No. Let's look at the bunkers. Needs some sculpting. Sculpt around your bunkers inside and out. The great thing about this game is you barely have to sculpt the inside of the bunkers anymore. If you pre-sculpt. In other words, cut the sculpting before you lay the bunker in. So take your shape and flatten and lower. I've shown you how to do that a number of times. 1 or 2 feet down, get it, then circle, press down on your joystick and get it back to 0, circle it out and keep flattening it a couple times, and then lay your bunker down. So cut the sculpting first, then lay your bunker down, but then sculpt around the bunker. You can see here this is not sculpted. So take the fuzzy donut, as I call it, and the flatten. So fuzzy donut, flatten, and go around just 2-3 inches, maybe 4 or 5 at the top if you need it. Here you don't, because it's already kind of elevated. But that little kind of peninsula, you definitely want to smooth that and go around this whole thing with that fuzzy donut. It's cut a little too close to the fairway, right? So cut your bunkers a few feet, yard or two in. That's just right on top of it. Give yourself some space. Just make it look natural. So always go around. So that's cut in. That's fine. But again, it's very kind of uneven. It doesn't have to be perfect. But if you go around and you're playing around with that fuzzy donut brush and sculpt, you just see what happens. You just look at the difference. Look at it before and after, and to be like, oh wow, okay, all right, because that just looks undone to me. It looks like a rough draft. Now, the bunkers have to be finely sculpted, no, but just again make it look ballistic, right? Because I can just see here, you can't, again, show off your work. I can see the bunker, but it isn't really displayed that well. A little bit of sculpting there, and to be honest with you, you don't need that little hill there, right? So if you just flatten that a tad to show off the bunker a little bit more, rounded it and sculpted it, again, it'd just be a little bit more dramatic. You can see that bunker, but some good sculpting would really make the bunkers. Again, this just looks blah. Looks like you just kind of laid a bunker down, didn't do anything. Maybe you did. And I'm just crazy. And I'm in the rough. Kind of lie do I got? Yeah, lies are not that bad in this game. Rough doesn't kill you like it did in the old days in these games. The old games. I don't know if that's good or a bad thing. But you see what I mean about these greens? They just don't fit with, for me, with the rest of the course. With the grid lines. Oh, I didn't even look what the greens are all at. 161. All right, that's reasonable. I like my, I do my kind of 165-ish to 170 is my default. Don't go, oh, too fast on these cameras. These cameras are a cool addition, but most people have them going way too fast. Okay, now that I'm dizzy, let's go to hole number 4. You gotta be careful with them. All right, I kind of like the shape of this. It ends, but I'm not sure why it ends. We'll look at that in a second. Oh, there's some surface weathering there, so that's a nice job on the hills. You know, I tend to put them under the trees because in real life, when you look on the trees, especially pines, evergreens, the pine needles are like death to grass. There's nothing under there. So you either kind of work in the dirt or work in the sculpting. Looks like you got some dirt in there, so I like that. So that's on the right track. The trees are definitely evergreens and some fall, autumn kind of things going on. So not a bad look. Those colors don't pop, obviously, with the neutral lighting, but that's fine because you kind of have that kind of neutral tone to the whole thing, and a kind of earthy tone. Yeah, again, just, yeah, this is okay. Not a ton of strategy yet, not a ton of decisions. Give people options and decisions. Make the holes interesting, not hard. But I like that. It kind of smooths around, curves around there. Oh, we got a big green here. It goes down to the river. You got a little island there. That's kind of cool. I don't know why the fairway ends. I mean, I like the look. It's kind of cool, but I'm going to go back here. What are we doing that for? There's, to me, zero reason to stop that fairway. Why? Why? I mean, usually there's a reason. Big drop, a low area, marsh area. Could even put in bunkering, and it doesn't strategically come into play at all. So I'm not sure why you would end it there. I mean, I think it looks cool, but there's just no reason. So just put a little drop. But it's a good chance to use some planting. I call them the little gunk areas, the little waste areas. We've got a ton of them here in Massachusetts, in New England. It's just brushy gunk. It's like mud. You can stand in it. Sometimes it's wet, but it's like mud. And it's just very brushy, thick brush. And you're lucky if you can find your pollen. Knee-high bushes, weeds, grass. You could add to your ambiance, extra planting, but you'll see a lot of that stuff in my courses because it takes up space, number one. Number two, it just kind of adds a little bit. So I like that scene. That's a pretty scene. I would just listen to me, completely fill the planting. Those kind of one-off grasses over there just look a little, let's see, just add a little consistency. It might be a tad dark, no, maybe it's me. Pretty, whoa. We're on a roller coaster. All right, that looks like an interesting. All right, 5. So, all right, now we got a little more strategery here. You could drive this bad boy. Good. So, drivable. Winds in kind of cut across, so it's not going to happen. Again, very flat, only 3 feet difference. It's just not a ton of elevation changes, ups, downs. You don't want it, the 3 wood's kind of right? Because you're going at a neck with the bunker right there. So I think right there is pretty much what you want to do. I'm just going to straighten it because the wind's going to blow it that way. But that's more like it. A little bit of strategy. What do you want to do with it? Although I give you, and that little neck, I might give you, if you got a bunker there, I might give a little more room to tempt somebody to do that because that's just not too tempting, is it? And then you got this interesting kind of double W-shaped green thing, or butterfly. I don't know what you want to call this thing. But that's interesting. It kind of works like a lion's mouth a little bit, right? Because where do you want to come at the hole? Here, I don't think it matters too much. But from here, right, if the pin was there, you're probably better off coming at it from here. And here, you want to be on the left side or something like that. So you could play around with the hole locations, see what works. Makes it a little interesting. I've got a lion's mouth in my work in progress. I think that green's a little too big. Strategically, it's not working out the way I want. I really don't want to do the green over. Because it came out great, it's just I made it too big. So it's still too easy. Strategy doesn't really matter much. But I think I'm just going to leave it for effect. All right, and I like that little formation up there. So I like the little rocky outcrops, things like that. Add some unique naturalness to it. So the overall ambience, you got a little, what do we got going over here? Please hold. It's over here. Just a little, all right. Yeah, just a little woodsy area. Thought I saw something else in there. Looks like a rock or a building or something, but it's just the trees. All right. So another part 3. Oh, that is an interesting green and interesting shaped bunker there. So this is what I mean. It's just too flat. I tend to make a lot of elevated greens because that's what I play on. You know, not every green needs to be elevated, but they usually are pitched a few feet at least. And around here with the hills and the Donald Rossi type holes, everything tends to be elevated a little. So this is like the green's in a low area. It's not going to drain. It just doesn't look natural to me. Again, making your greens look natural because that's why greens are elevated, so they drain. I know there's modern drainage on these things, but to me this looks like an old-time course. I don't know. To me that's a little just blah. It's just flat. If that was elevated up and just, you know, kind of up a little bit, it would look a little bit better and a little bit more realistic. I like the unique shape. And again, I think it's going, I don't know where I am, of course. Yeah, it's going towards the water. Be interesting to have a whole location in here at that distance. So, okay. That's gonna be good if it gets over that. Oh, it doesn't. Oh, if it just hopped over that, that would have been right at it. Again, bunker sculpting would make it look awesome. So playability-wise, this is solid. Just you got some definite sculpting issues. You know, everything's a little flat. Please fix those cameras. I'm getting dizzy. You know, I feel like it might be a tad dark. It's not bad. All right, so a little bit of decision here. See the green is, oh, it's an interesting green and an interesting set of bunkers leading up to it. Again, there's not much of a decision. It's just kind of sneaking in. You do run out of some room up there, so you want to shape one left to right. What you don't want to do is push one like I just did, but I did. It's actually, I thought that was much worse. And yeah, so that's a bit of a narrow green for, it's a par 5. That's a very short 5. I was going to say it's a long 4. Doesn't matter. Par is a state of mind, as they say. Again, going up to the water. Oh, you got some nice one going, looking across there. You got a boat and everything. It's pretty scenic. I don't know that you need all those bunkers. I think it's kind of cool, but don't know that you need 6. Interesting. Again, a little too close. Give yourself more space. The fairway, just feel a little. It looks a little jammed, right? So just think about your spacing, and then you say, well, what's the right spacing? Just look at any top designer's course, like a Matt F. Or B101, or any of the names that you all know. DR Golf Design, Architect Maze. Look at this. Oh! Look at mine. I don't always get the spacing right, but there you go. The eagle has landed. All right, I'm gonna do 2 more. Like I said, initially I did 6 holes, and then just do like 20 minutes, 5, 6 holes, and then I started doing 9, and then started doing 18. So, Yeah, again, not much strategy here, just kind of kick a field goal. Kick a field goal is kind of good if there's trees sometimes. There was a hole up in New Hampshire I play. Got two giant oaks on either side of the fairway. And it's kind of got to kick a field goal. Interesting green. And the slope's a little down, a little back. And this is a par 4. Interesting. So I got a longer shot into the par 4 than I did the par 5. I know wind has something to do with that. When you're in doubt, when it comes to strategy, look to the template holes. Can't go through all of them or what they are. If you don't know, look them up. Yeah, just help. You don't have to do them exact. Just it helps your thought process. So, well, that's interesting. What is that thing? All right. I like things like that in the fairway instead of a bunker, but that's only 140 yards out, so I don't know what's going on. One thing I got to say, since the ninth hole, definitely has shown off the work from the fairway fairly well here. Mr. Oneputtguru doesn't have a lot, those hills you see blocking the way or anything, so you can see the fairway and the bunkers pretty well. So that sculpting is done well. I just think the generic sculpting is a little bland for the course. I like the sides, the little hills on the side, like here where the trees are. I think that's pretty well done. Just the course in general doesn't move too much. And strategically, it's not particularly interesting. Here, you got to make a decision, but does it really matter? Doesn't particularly matter with that whole location. Maybe if you had a pin way left, you want to be over here. You had a pin way right, you want to be over here. But you kind of want to be over here. You just might run out of room. I'm just going to do this. Run it down. And we're just going to throw a wedge in. All right. There we go. All right. So that was L'Anse Aux Loup Oneputtguru. That was the front 9. Drop me a note and you get, that's WIP 4, by the way. There you can see it spelled out. L'Anse Aux Loup GC WIP 4. Let me know when you get the back 9 finished. Maybe we'll give it another spin for another quick tip. So that's it for Quick Tips 21. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back real soon with more PGA Tour 2K25 golf course design tips. That's all for today. Bye for now.